Okay, let's go to the next topic. How are cyclones classified? एक IMD कैसे साइक्लोन को कलर कोडिंग कर रहा है, इस पे क्वेश्चन आ गया, यूपीएससी ने पूछ लिया 2022 में. In general, we'll understand how cyclones are classified. We'll also briefly look at how IMD is giving color coding and what is the meaning of those things. Do we get it? क्या पढ़ने जा रहे हैं? साइक्लोन्स का क्लासिफिकेशन कैसे होगा? देखो, द मोस्ट स्टैंडर्ड क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ साइक्लोन, द मोस्ट स्टैंडर्ड मेथड ऑफ साइक्लोन क्लासिफिकेशन इज द Saffir-Simpson हरिकेन विंड स्केल, SS हरिकेन विंड स्केल या SS स्केल, Saffir-Simpson wind scale or SS wind scale. It was given in 1970s and it categorizes cyclones on the basis of wind speed at a height of 10 meter, not at the ground level, not at much higher level, at a height of 10 meter. What is the wind speed of the cyclone? Higher the wind speed, more damage it may cause, and based on that it categorizes cyclones in category 1 to category 5. Just जो category 5 वाला cyclone है, if its wind a cyclone will be considered of category 5 if its wind speed is more than 252 km per hour, and at this speed the combined effect of wind, storm surge and rainfall in the category 5 impact would completely range any structure. It will be very destructive. That is what they are trying to say. But at that time it was considered to be something humongous कि यार इतना बड़ा cyclone आ गया, we do not have to create another category. But recently down to earth में एक detailed article आया था where they said कि we need to revise this system. Because now cyclones are becoming more and more intense. UPSC ने मेंस में पूछा कि वो क्यों intense हो रहे हैं. यहाँ पे हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं they are becoming more and more intense and thus about 250 km everything is category 5. But they say that एक और category बना दो. Because about 252 km number of cyclones are increasing and among them there should be a bigger category, category 6. So this is just a suggestion. This categorization may not be enough anymore. With global warming, rise in sea surface temperature, cyclones are becoming more and more intense. Long term data indicate that frequency of intense tropical cyclone is going to go up. In fact, it is said that an increase in wind speed of 12% is observed in the strongest cyclone, which correspond to 40% increase in the destructive potential whenever temperature rise by 1 degree. So, for every degree of warming, wind speed increases by around 12% and increase in the destructive potential increase by 40%. And because of climate change, temperature is rising, so wind speed is going to increase by 12% and this thing, rainfall and the damages would also increase, and thus we need another category. That is what they are suggesting. So, scientists therefore are suggesting a hypothetical modification of the SS wind scale to tie category 5 to peak wind speed between 250 to 309, and any cyclone above 309 km per hour, जिसका wind speed will be above 309 km per hour should be included in category 6. ये अभी न्यूज में था, कुछ दिनों पहले ही this issue was in news. तो देखो, UPSC has asked this portion, cyclone color coding of IMD. अभी उस पे आते हैं, but because this is in news, they may ask you, what is SS hurricane system for cyclone categorization? How should it be changed to take into consideration the increased intensity of cyclones occurring in recent years? This kind of question may come. तो उसके लिए पहले आपको SS system पता होना चाहिए. Now let's come to IMD's color coding of cyclone. Why what is the meaning of this color coding and why this color coding is done? We'll talk about this. Let's come to cyclone color coding by IMD. Cyclone, how does IMD do color coding and what are its implications? Let us understand that, or what is the meaning of those color coding. देखो, purpose of IMD's color coding is something similar to air quality index. अब air quality index में if you were told this much of particulate matter 10 is there, this much of particulate matter, this much of SO2 is there, this much of CO2 is there. All these things would have led to what? A lot of confusion. Rather than that, air quality index में आपको क्या बोल दिया जाता है? Air quality good है, moderate है, severe है, and that gives people a clear understanding of what are the things we have to look for. What are the things we have to look for? Right? That is the purpose of IMD's color coding of any cyclone. When a cyclone is coded green, all is well, no adverse weather condition is expected. Situation अच्छा है. Second, when it is coded yellow, it asks the guards to be updated to handle bad weather that can last for days with a warning of affecting daily activities. But who is asked? Authorities are asked कि कुछ bad weather condition हो सकता है, but not. Citizens are not worried a lot in this circumstance. Then we have orange. Be prepared. In this situation, communication channels, roads may be flooded, your telephone lines, all those things may be disconnected. वो situation may occur here. And then red, danger. It is the highest level of warning that notifies the authorities to take action. This is the case in which there is a threat to life with worst weather condition. So, for example, in December 2023 during the cyclone Michaung, red alert was issued in 10 districts of Chennai, Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. Red alert meaning life may be threatened. Cyclone may do this kind of destruction. So, color coding and their meaning. IMD does it for the purpose of making in general people understand the situation rather than giving इतने speed का cyclone है. अब because I do not observe cyclone every day, so I do not know 200 km/h का cyclone के मतलब का what would be meant by that? Got it? Sorry? Indian Meteorological Department जो IMD weather predict करता है ना, monsoon predict करता है इंडिया में, वो वाला. Let's go to 2 cyclone seasons in India. देखो अब cyclones के लिए condition क्या चाहिए? Cyclone के लिए warm sea surface temperature, that is one condition. Away from, existence of low pressure, वाला away from equator. Vertical wind speed में बहुत variation नहीं होना चाहिए. But at the time of monsoon, there is a lot of variation in this wind speed. तो ड्यूरिंग मॉनसून जो ये पीरियड होता है ना, जून जुलाई अगस्त वाला पीरियड, बिकॉज ऑफ दिस वेरिएशन इन द विंड स्पीड और विंड डायरेक्शन, ऑल दीज थिंग्स रिमेन. कभी बहुत तेज बारिश हो रही है, इन दोस सर्कमस्टांसेस साइक्लोन्स आर नॉट फॉर्म्ड. व्हेन आर साइक्लोन्स फॉर्म्ड इन इंडिया? बिफोर मॉनसून पीरियड, आफ्टर मॉनसून पीरियड. तो इंडिया में 2 पीरियड्स रहेंगे साइक्लोन फॉर्मेशन के, बिफोर मॉनसून, आफ्टर मॉनसून, not during the monsoon. So the topic 2 cyclone seasons in India. Warm condition develops over North Indian Ocean for long period, but during monsoon, strong monsoon wind varies in strength and direction from the surface to the middle of the atmosphere. And this तो क्या नहीं हो पाया यहाँ पे? Which condition was not fulfilled during monsoon? Low variation in the wind speed. Vertical wind speed. यहाँ पे there will be a lot of variation, and thus during monsoon cyclones would not be formed. Please understand. Now you may say, sir, अभी तो अगस्त में cyclone आया था. There may be exception, but in general, cyclones will not be formed. Cyclones will not be formed. Are we clear about why monsoon के time cyclone नहीं आएगा? Okay. Note, all other cyclogenesis regions have a single cyclone season during the year, but in case of India, in case of monsoon kind of climate, there are 2 different seasons. Now come to this topic. Arabian Sea experiences much lesser cyclone when compared to Bay of Bengal. Why? Arabian Sea has much lesser cyclones when compared to Bay of Bengal. Let me open the map. हम दोनों का अरेबियन सी और बे ऑफ बंगाल का स्ट्रक्चर समझेंगे, एंड देन विल ट्राई टू आंसर व्हाई अरेबियन सी रिसीव्स लेस नंबर ऑफ साइक्लोन एंड बे ऑफ बंगाल हैज मच हायर नंबर ऑफ साइक्लोन. Bay of Bengal has much higher number of cyclones. Arabian Sea has lower number of cyclones. When compared to Bay of Bengal, this is something that we have to answer. Okay, let us go one by one. One thing that we need is warm sea surface temperature. है ना? Now we are saying is Bay of Bengal will have warmer sea surface temperature when compared to Arabian Sea. तभी तो यहाँ पे ज़्यादा rainfall होगा. Oh sorry, ज़्यादा cyclones होंगे. One condition for cyclone is sea surface temperature should be high. Now why would Bay of Bengal have higher sea surface temperature? That is something that we have to answer. Why would Bay of Bengal have higher sea surface temperature? One reason is Bay of Bengal receives much more amount of water from rivers. So you will say कि sir river से water तो glacial water should be cooler. No, it doesn't work like that. River water is lighter when compared to ocean water. Ocean में salt है, जो river से water आएगा fresh water होगा, that will be lighter. So in generally what happens, it forms a layer on the top surface. It doesn't mean that आप जाके glass से उठा के पी लोगे ocean के water को. No. Generally fresh water for sometimes would be forming a top layer. It will not be getting mixed with the lower water easily, and as it gets warmed, it remains on the top. So the ocean which receives more water will have more water on the surface, which is not easily getting mixed with the other water because it is lighter, and thus it would remain warmer for longer period. One reason why Bay of Bengal is warmer, or Bay of Bengal, one reason why Bay of Bengal is warmer, that it receives more fresh water from rivers, and this fresh water forms this thing, layer, creating the situation. Are we getting it? क्या ये बात समझ में आई आपको? More fresh water, फिर से समझो. Ocean, dense water, it has more salt. Fresh water creates a layer, and this layer is not getting mixed with the bottom water easily. Eventually it will get mixed, and this layer is getting warm, absorbing heat, getting warm. So surface temperature is higher. Here they do not receive a lot of water from rivers, and thus it will be cooler when compared to the surface temperature here. Then another is Bay of Bengal has weaker currents and lesser upwelling. जैसे Arabian Sea में will have a Somali current along the coast of Africa. That kind of current doesn't exist in Bay of Bengal, and thus upwelling, cooler water coming on the top is also lesser. Third, Bay of Bengal is located in lower altitude. Here what reason is being given is this. देखो, Bay of Bengal का most of the water is here. In case of Arabian Sea, this top layer is further away from top equator, and thus the average sunlight got by Bay of Bengal is more than the average sunlight got by Arabian Sea, because Arabian Sea में ऊपर वाला portion भी है. Do we get it? Do we understand it? Then Bay of Bengal receives weaker winds and clouds during the pre-monsoon period when compared to Arabian Sea, and Bay of Bengal is surrounded by landmass more effectively, and because of this the cold water from rest of the ocean do not mix as fast in it as it happens in Arabian Sea. For these reasons, Bay of Bengal is what? Warmer than Arabian Sea. Bay of Bengal is surrounded more effectively by land, so it is receiving water from the southern ocean, but not as much as Arabian Sea is able to receive, and thus when it is getting hot, when it is getting warm, it remains warm for much longer period, creating the conditions needed for high sea surface temperature. Do we get it? Do we understand it? Okay. Then wind shear in Arabian Sea is higher. Wind shear was a negative thing, it should be low. In Arabian Sea, it's higher. The wind that Arabian Sea receives is much higher. That also becomes a factor. So during post-monsoon season, the northeast monsoon and dry continental air ends up cooling during the post-monsoon season or during the northeast monsoon season. Northeast monsoon season में Arabian Sea will receive wind from where? From the landmass. It will be receiving cooler wind from the landmass, which will cool it. That is not the case with Bay of Bengal, northeast monsoon, the wind which is coming on the Bay of Bengal, and it doesn't cool it that much. Thus the cooler temperature, stronger wind shear and relatively low convective activity in Arabian Sea does what? It reduces the scope of cyclones getting formed in Arabian Sea. Do we understand this? Okay. Now these are some recent cyclones which affected India. One of them is important. You will say कि sir अभी आपने बोला monsoon period में cyclones are not formed and cyclone Asna affected us during monsoon. August September में it was tropical cyclone that affected Gujarat, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh state of India in August September 2024. It caused widespread flooding in Gujarat, Sindh, and it had also caused many deaths. Why are we covering cyclones? News में था इसलिए cover कर रहे हैं. We're covering it because in current affairs program we'll cover something when it was in news. Up August 10 September beginning में this cyclone is there, but note how rare it is. This is the first North Indian Ocean cyclone in August since 1981. North Indian Ocean में cyclones generally do not occur during monsoon period. Cyclone do not occur during monsoon period. Exceptions हो सकते हैं. This Asna was one such exception. Do we understand this? First. Second, this is the first North Indian Ocean cyclone. It was born. This is the first cyclonic storm in the Arabian Sea in August since 1976. North Indian Ocean में this is first since 1981. 1981 में cyclone कहाँ आया था? Bay of Bengal में आया था. Arabian Sea में तो 1976. None of us were born. In August, a cyclone had originated in Arabian Sea at this time. This is how rare cyclones during monsoon is, because we understand India में monsoon period में India में cyclones के cyclone season is divided into two parts. Monsoon period में cyclone नहीं होगा. First, why Asna is significant? Are we getting it? Asna kind of situation doesn't exist. That doesn't come every year. It has come almost after 40 years, 50 years. 1976 के बाद Arabian Sea में आया है. 1981 के बाद यहाँ है तो almost after 40 years, more than 40 years, North Indian Ocean में cyclones came in monsoon period. Now Asna is also important for other important reason. It was born from the transition of a strong land-borne depression onto the warm Arabian Sea. Now what is this first line? Here, the low pressure system was originated on land and then it moved on the Arabian Sea. And now you will say, ki, sir, how is it possible? Cyclone ka source of energy is the water vapor getting condensed. Cyclone ka that is the source of energy. Then how the cyclone system was land borne and then it transitioned onto the warm Arabian Ocean? Because it fed on moisture of the moist soil in the rainy season. During monsoon, soil was moist, land pe, so it had moisture there. It was land borne because it fed on the moisture of the rainy season, moisture of the soil. So it's a very exceptional kind of cyclone. Asna is a very exceptional kind of cyclone, very unique kind of cyclone. Do we understand this? Are we clear about it? Okay. Cyclone Michaung. अब Michaung क्या था? Michaung it originated as a low pressure area in the Gulf of Thailand. It caused very heavy rainfall in Chennai and southeastern Andhra Pradesh in December 2023. So it was a cyclone जो post monsoon period में India को impact किया, North Indian Ocean में originate हुआ and impacted Chennai, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and some parts of Odisha also. So this had created urban flood again in Chennai. इस वजह से we had studied urban floods, those kind of things. So this was one such cyclone. Got it? Understood? Ayush is saying, sir, I am enrolled in CA 2025 offline batch. When I can get your appointment, need to discuss few things. Class के बाद मिल लो. कहाँ हो आयुष? यहीं बैठे हो क्या? ऑफलाइन है यहाँ लिखा है ऑफलाइन, तो आज क्लास के बाद मिल लो, या फिर देखो मंडे ट्यूसडे वेडनेसडे आई हैव क्लासेस टिल 9 PM, तो इफ यू लिव इन ORN करोल बाग यहीं पे कहीं रहते हो तो 9 बजे आके मंडे ट्यूसडे वेडनेसडे भी मिल सकते हो, नहीं तो फिर थर्सडे को 5 बजे, फ्राइडे को 5 बजे, या फिर सैटरडे संडे राइट आफ्टर द क्लास. सैटरडे संडे वी हैव क्लासेस फ्रॉम 5 to 8 PM, तो at 8 PM we'll be able to meet. Why are tropical cyclones becoming more dangerous? Why are tropical cyclones becoming more dangerous? देखो, tropical cyclones will become more dangerous, more energetic if they are able to get more source of energy. उनका source of energy क्या था? Water vapor. Water vapor condense होके जो heat release कर रहा है, energy release कर रहा है, that is the source of energy, and they'll receive more water vapor if sea surface temperature is higher. Sea surface temperature would be higher if there is more. Sea surface temperature will be higher if there is more global warming. Global warming में आपको पता है, atmosphere is getting warmed, but most of that extra energy or extra heat is absorbed by what? Ocean. तो सारा most of the heat, the extra heat that we are generating is getting, or that we are trapping is getting absorbed by ocean. तो oceans का water is getting warmer. If it gets warmer, it will become vapor easily. If it gets warmer, low pressure situation will be created easily, and because of this our tropical cyclones are becoming more and more intense, more and more dangerous. That is why in the SS classification system, one recommendation is create a category 6 also, because with increasing temperature, cyclones ka speed is going to get higher. Okay. What is then the way forward? What are the key things that we should keep in mind? अब ये disaster management में क्वेश्चन आ जाता है, ये तो here I am not writing this way forward from the perspective of disaster management. In general, in geography, if a question on cyclone comes and वहाँ पे way forward का requirement है कि how do we remain better prepared for with cyclones, what are the key things that we can suggest. But before I go into way forward, do we have clarity on all other aspects of cyclones? In which region it will originate, in which region it will. अब आपसे पूछ लिया जाए ना कि why do cyclones don't occur in this region? कोई भी region हो, think of that region and the conditions which are needed, and find what are the conditions which are not fulfilled there. आपको एकदम ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर के ऊपर, ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैप्रिकॉर्न के नीचे वाला जगह बोल दें, अब बोलो शायद सी सरफेस टेम्परेचर विल नॉट बी very high. That can be one of the reasons, है ना. A place which is very high pressure, तो low pressure situation is not getting created. जैसे cold ocean currents जहाँ से जा रहे हैं, तो find reasons and write those reasons rather than cramming पूरे अर्थ पे what are the different places, and for every place you will cram reason for why cyclones occur there, why cyclones don't occur there. Understand the main factors behind occurring of cyclone, and then identify which of those factors are not applicable somewhere. Okay. Now, what is the way forward? Way forward mein first thing that we are saying is we have to be prepared for stronger cyclones. Climate change is occurring. So whatever steps we are taking, keep in mind that cyclones are going to become more intense. We may be creating coastal infrastructure which can sustain a particular stage of cyclone. Make it stronger to deal with more intense cyclone. So, with climate change, be prepared for stronger cyclone. That's one thing. Second, ensure that coastal regulation zone are getting implemented more effectively. Coastal regulation zone rules are getting implemented more effectively. You will see, हमने CRZ rules I think June batch वाले बच्चों में पढ़ा है. CRZ rules में there are restrictions on developments in coastal areas, and if those rules are followed effectively, what would happen? It would ensure that coastal areas are not getting unnecessarily overpopulated, which will make them more vulnerable to this kind of the increasing cyclone system. Then dwelling of rural coastal inhabitants must be strengthened. Increase green cover. It has been seen that those areas where mangrove cover is higher, the negative impact of cyclones are lower there. So we need to increase green cover which like mangroves, which act as natural shield and improve resilience of the coastal areas, forecasting should continue to improve. Why do forecasting need to improve? First of all, forecasting gives us more time. Better forecasting gives us more time. Better forecasting can tell us whether what is the path this cyclone will take. Better forecasting can tell us what intensity of the cyclone, what will be the intensity of the cyclone, and thus do we need to evacuate people, or do we just need to give them suggestion, close everything, remain inside your homes. So to deal, we cannot prevent cyclones from occurring. ऐसा तो नहीं कर सकते ना जहां पे सी सरफेस टेम्परेचर लो है वहां पे जाके ठंडा पानी डाल रहे, ये तो नहीं कर सकते है ना. वी कैन नॉट प्रिवेंट साइक्लोन्स फ्रॉम अकरिंग, बट इफ वी कैन प्रिडिक्ट इट way more in advance, we can prevent the damages that it may cause. So there should also be focus on maximizing skill of the forecast of cyclone as cyclone intensifies, lifespan, speed and track. So basically forecasting cyclones intensity, cyclones life, cyclone speed and the path that it will take, which are the areas going to get affected. All those things need to improve. India's academic climate community should build teams to work with IMD to advance understanding of cyclone processes and to improve cyclone prediction. Generally in this kind of situation, what I also add is कि we can improve all these things with the latest technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning. ये सब हमें whatever methods we use, उसमें if we integrate these latest technology, our prediction can enhance, our prediction can improve, and this improved prediction can help us give more time to deal with cyclones. Okay, so starting from how will we define cyclone? Now this was not one question. Here we have tried to include all the questions, and that is why ये 1 page या 2 page में topic नहीं है. Generally you will see most of the topics I'll try to give in 1 page and 2 page if it's a small one, but here I had to deal with multiple questions, so it's a big topic. But I hope now when you look at the questions, जो शुरू में 5-6 questions दिए, you'll be able to answer all of them. And my hope is also this, if in next year's exam a question on cyclone comes, you'll also be able to answer that.